of the Institute of African Studies, Carleton University. My name is Samuel Ojolo Ontoba. I'm an assistant professor here at the Institute of African Studies, and I'm the coordinator of the Brown Bag series. We have today as our guest speaker, Dr. Judith Nagasha, a partner in progress. We work together under the context of the Africa Indigenous Knowledge Research Network. So she'll be talking to us today. The chair of today is Professor Nduka Otiono, who is the director of the Institute of African Studies. I don't know whether it's on. I think the Institute of African Studies is on. Prof, if you are on, please, can you take over the session for today? Thank you. So we welcome Professor Otiono, who is the director of the Institute of the African Studies here at Carleton, and he will be sharing the session. Welcome, Prof. We're not hearing you. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Let me see. Please just a moment. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I don't know why my screen.
We can see you clearly.
You can see me.
We can see you.
For some reason, I am not seeing myself.
Okay.
Please just a
And
moment.
her bio is in your phone.
Yes, I have the bio here. I'm just
Okay.
this for some reason. I am okay. So yes. Yes. All right, thank you so much. And then sorry for that slight technical slowdown in entering this. I would like to, yes, thank you. And I am so delighted that we are now at the first of the series of our brand bag for the year. And this is our very first, and we are so excited to have Dr. Judith Nagasha, senior lecturer at Bogo University, as the presenter leading this seminar. I think being Africans, we can claim that this presentation, Judith, is going to bring us a lot of good luck for the rest of the series. And so you are opening the season for us with a very interesting topic: gender-based strategies and use of indigenous knowledge systems in dairy farming household in Western Uganda. We can't overemphasize the importance of food to our livelihood and our overall well-being. And so I'll do a very quick intro of our speaker so that we can have a better sense of who she is. Dr. Nagasha holds a Master's of Development Management and Bachelor of Arts in Social Sciences. In the International Relations Office, she provides strategic leadership in advancing the university's internationalization agenda by developing global partnerships, promoting research and grants collaboration, and fostering staff and student mobility. Acting as the university's global representative, the head strengthens networks with universities, embassies, and development partners to enhance international visibility and reputation. And this is very important because this aligns with what we do at Carleton, especially at the Institute of African Studies, in terms of the expansions of the network and collaborations that we've been able to build, and especially with regard to the work of our colleague, Dr. Samuel Olorutoba Ojo. So Dr. Nagasha has been instrumental in integrating research, policy, and practice. She leads the Translating Science into Policy and Practice project under the CEDA-funded AfriFirst, AfriFo's 2030 program at the Kayombo University. Through this initiative, she has empowered young researchers across the 8 African countries, Burkina Faso, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Kenya, Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Uganda, to develop evidence-based policies. She has held a number of other positions, has led gender-responsive projects such as empowering women's entrepreneurship among the Batwa indigenous community of Uganda, promoting gender-inclusive climate change approaches in livestock farming to improve milk safety and marketing, advancing women's empowerment in coffee banana systems in eastern Uganda, and documenting women's roles in fisheries value chains along Lake Victoria. She is currently researching climate-induced migration and gender-based livelihood adaptation in refugee host communities in refugee settlements in Uganda, while also promoting vocational training to reduce youth unemployment and improve mental health. Dr. Nagasha has published journal articles, authored policy briefs, and presented her research at international conferences and community forums. We are indeed delighted to have her flag this series of brown bag this semester on a topic that is also not only tied to her research, but one that is so important at a time like this. With the challenges of climate change, decline in food production, and all of those other issues that also deal with the gender question. Ladies and gentlemen, very distinguished colleagues, it's my pleasure and my privilege to invite Dr. Judith Nagasha to herald the first in the series of the brown bag of the Institute of African Studies this semester. Over to you, Dr. Nagasha.
Thank you very much.
Can we give her a virtual round of applause? Let's see.
Thank you very much, Professor Nduka. The profile is quite humbling, and it's my prayer that I deliver as expected. And being the very first one for this series, it's such a big privilege for me. Mine will be really a conversation and my story, because I love communities. I have passion for communities, and that's why I do now science to impact projects, translating science into policy and practice. It's no longer business as usual for publications, for promotions, writing books, but what are the communities benefiting? What are our researchers thinking about? How do they translate their research? So I started off that kind of working with communities with this project. Quite many agriculture for food security, that's what it means. So I work in the areas of coffee, banana spaces, fishery spaces, dairy spaces, and also indigenous in terms of food security. So among those, I felt that I should tell my story through the gender-based strategies and use of indigenous knowledge in the dairy systems in Western Uganda. The community I carry out this research, where I make intervention, it is the same area I did my PhD, and was quite stressing for me to do a PhD, collect your data, and there's no intervention, and yet you can see the gaps. Something has to be there. It was not about earning a PhD. It wasn't about getting publications. It wasn't about promotions. Yes, they are good, but what are we giving these communities? Because when you go to them, they are tired of researchers. They stress them. but some of them have made interventions, but others have not. So I opted for action research ever since I completed my PhD. The other one, yes, was academic, but now it is the other way around. It's community, working with the communities through TOCs, theory of change, and then going backwards. And at the end of the day, you can achieve both. To go to my next slide. Okay. So just an overview is livestock raised under unhygienic environments, especially in the communities, the cattle corridors of Uganda with zoonotic and waterborne diseases, and also unhygienic conditions and poor cleaning containers of milk in that particular place. It is an area that gender and value chains of women and women face different barriers. Its context, it is a highly patriarchal society. And those of you who know the politics of Uganda, it is where the president comes from. So it is the men have an upper hand in everything. They own all the resources. Traditionally, that's the tradition. Traditionally, they own all the resources. So the women have to go through the men to access all these resources. And research is also sensitive in this particular area. You have to get permission from the male counterparts. You cannot access a woman in this community without accessing the male counterparts. And their indigenous systems are still intact compared to the other. I also come from a cattle corridor, not very high, but cattle corridor, we have cows, but we don't have systems that they have. They have very strong indigenous systems in terms of marriage, milk and value additions and all that. So I thought that when I read through literature, there was yes, they have the indigenous systems, but something can be done with these systems. So this is mainly the context of this mainly area. They are smallholder farmers, and they dwell on traditional milk production systems. The picture here is this is their milk parlor where the containers. These are their traditional containers where they store their milk from, and every if I'm to talk about every instrument here, some of them are like, some of them are big, some of them are calabashes. So each instrument here has its own use. So the men are really in charge of milk, and it's a taboo for women to milk in this community because they think the natural calamities will come along, and they think girls are not going to get married when they milk. And also it is a taboo for men to get into value addition, especially the churning of milk, the preparing of the ghee, preparing of the white sauce, because they get white sauce from the ghee, they get from the milk. So this is a role of a woman in this community. And those are the traditional utensils that they use. So there are power dynamics in this kind of setup. The gender relations are also a bit streamlined. You can easily tell what is going on, especially when you get into the community. And the children have their roles. So their productive, reproductive, and community roles are very clear, depending on their unwritten laws or unwritten rules or unwritten guidelines that are tradition in this very particular area. So now I'm going to give you a crack of some of the instruments that I showed there. I tried to get the botanical names and the local names. So I'll go traditional here. I'll pronounce them the way they are, but I'll talk about them later. Chavo, it is where they churn milk from to get butter. Sorry, then a chanzi, it's a wooden milk pot made of smoked black wood and covered with handmade sisal. And then enkoro is a small wooden pot called small chans, mainly for children, where it is filled with milk from a specific cow. Because they have specific cows where the men take milk from a specific cow, and the children also take milk from a specific cow. Then we have HT chomrara. This is a botanical name, Terminalia brownie stem, which is used for cleaning and smoking milk containers. So even the detergents they use, they are also indigenous. Clearly spelled out in the communities. Every household you go to, you'll find these detergents there. Then H. is also a plant of Vanoria amygdalina, used for cleaning milking utensils. It's also a plant, they're indigenous. Then Owitizo, Okwitira, it is a process like for cleaning these utensils, and it's a certain grass they dry, smoke, and then it brings some aromas in those pots. Orwabia, it is oh sorry. Oh, okay. Orwabia is a pot for serving ghee sauce. And this kind of pot is usually used mainly where you don't miss it out, when there's a traditional wedding in that community, and then they serve it to the visitors, the important visitors. So they usually serve that in that particular pot. Enyabia, it is a calabash for storing ghee, and Ojeje, it's a special raised step, which I showed you in the previous slide, where all these instruments are assembled and they're stored. So it is just a house, grass-thatched house, because they want it cool. And then we have Ichchunga, clay pot used for milk pots or gourds. So this is the milk shed. This is they have modernized them, but I stick to the traditional one where it was, grass thatched, and mainly this is where you find this milking utensils are inside this hut. But now they have modernized them. Others put tiles, others put iron sheets, but that is the original milk shed. Then this is the detergent, the grass plant that I told you about for clean detergents. This one is dried, and this one it brings soap. When you put it in water, you can see kind of a foam foaming, and then you use it to clean. So they dry them, and then these are used for aroma. After drying them on the ceiling of that hut, you can use them for aroma in those pots. This is the process of smoking the grass in a traditional smoking utensils. This is one of the utensils they use. You put fire in here, and then you get your calabash. You just put it on top of it so that this smoke gets into that. The smoke gets into these utensils so that it brings in some aroma in that. This is the ash for flavor. After smoking, this is ash for flavor. You just wash it through the other utensils, because they need it for that. And this is the other, the stem I was telling you about, mrama, for cleaning echabo. You just put it in fire, it brings some smoke, and then you take the smoke with the fire itself in that calabash. And this is the process of making ghee. Some call it butter, ghee, and yogurt. This is how they clean their ghee, and this is mainly a role for a woman. And then now they've modernized. This is the process of making yogurt. First use firewood, as you can see, and then they put up the milk, and then some of the households now have workers from different communities. So you find young boys helping the youth that don't have jobs. Some of them work on these farms of these pastoralists, or some of them have maybe 500 cattle, 1,000, depending on how large the farm is. So this is all white sauce. They make ghee from white sauce, and that's the Orwabia, where you serve very important guests. So in this community, if we receive Professor Nduka and Professor Samuel, we'll use this utensils for the special sauce for you to eat. So we'll welcome you on board when you come visiting that one day in future. And then this is where they store their ghee. These are the
We're
small
looking forward to that.
and these are the small calabashes where they store their ghee. It has a 6-month shelf when you store it in this traditional calabash. So it is, of course, was research ongoing, but some of the captions from like the veterinary officer in this very community, the doctor from Naro, because I was working with him to understand the science side and the hygiene. So for her take at the end of this, we respect and encourage indigenous ways among communities as long as they are done hygienically. We always educate these people and propose ways of improving some of these practices. The dangers they pose is the potential of transferring pathogenic bacteria to the consumers. Otherwise, the products are rich in flavor, organically produced and processed. Such practices increase environmental awareness and conservation of indigenous breeds. That was a quote from one of the doctors I was moving with from National Agriculture and Research Organization, Uganda. So at the end of this phase, we thought that with that particular doctor, we came up with a manual, training manual on how these communities can have hygiene, a good hygiene in handling their milk, their utensils, storage. And so we translated this into the local language. It's both in English for the dairy farmers and also for the local communities in the local language. And a paper was published out of this work. Professor Ntoba, you know about that paper. It was 2025, yeah. So this study continued after this because it keeps on evolving. And now along the way, I got funding from AgriForce 2030 program funded by CIDA. And then it introduced the theory of change, working on projects on research using theory of change. And they would tell us to write our long-term change for the project. So for this project, the long-term was the empowerment of women to produce and market self-milk products, do value addition, and be able to access lucrative markets, and hence fetching high prices, leading to increased household incomes and food security, and improving livelihoods in Western Uganda. So we went backwards a little bit, have everybody on board, looked at the situation analysis, involved stakeholders, and came up with an impact pathway so that we keep checking, working with the communities, because with science translation and practice, the approach changes. You keep working with the communities from the word go. Whatever you're going to implement, whatever you're planning for the community, we had to now bring them on board fully. So we found that, of course, there are constraints in the production of safe milk and safe milk and their products, and there was limited awareness, knowledge of the methods of production of safe milk and products, and then that the culture maturity to process milk using indigenous methods needed to be improved in terms of cleaning, and women were performing different roles. And the constraints were there was insufficient milk available for value addition because men are in charge of the milk. And some of them, the women would say you have to be at good terms with your male counterpart to access milk, because after milking in the morning, which is done at about 4 a.m., because I needed to see all the process of that. So I sampled the household, so arrived at 4 a.m. to start off the time they wake up. And the boys are in charge. The boys, the young men, the youth, from even up to from 5 years, 6, 7, the boys move along with their fathers to learn whatever they do from childhood. So you'll find that getting cows to bear milk, all that is done by a man. And the woman at that time wakes up also early to clean the utensils. So the man at this part, after milking, they portion milk. The women have portion for the household, If the man is humble enough, they'll give them milk for value addition. And then the other milk for sale, they take it to the dairy plants. But women complain that we would do a lot because they would give you mathematics, simple mathematics. A liter, let's say a liter of milk is about 1 USD, 1 USD. And then that liter of milk, you could get, you can get 3 liters of milk, get 1 kilo of ghee, and that ghee that does a lot of value addition, you'll find that you can sell that ghee at 10 USD. So the argument is if you have more milk and then you do a value addition, you get more money, which when you calculate well the mathematics, it works out. And on the other hand, during the long spells, dry spells, especially climate, because it's a cattle corridor. So when there is drought or long dry spells, this community has really hit badly because even cows die. There's no grass pasture for the animals. So when you have done value addition during rainy seasons where the milk is plenty, you can save some household income during the dry spells. The women also lack finances to purchase milk for value addition because maybe your household doesn't have enough. But if you have money, you can buy milk from a different farm so that you do the traditional, you can do some value addition. And women are glued to traditional methods of value addition because we try to provide some machines because churning of milk is really tiresome. When you see they sit in that those milk parlors churning and producing like 5 kilos of milk, it takes some time. But there are some machines that you can do, like blenders that can do this. They churn for you. But you go back to the market, people will say, we want machine ghee. That one is cheap because it doesn't have the aroma, because it doesn't go through the indigenous process. So you'll find still the indigenous processing attracts more money than the other one. Then the technology they have, but we have tried to provide technology, small, simple equipment. And then there were no organized groups because some of these women need to be backed up by support. Because you know how groups work. There are those group dynamics. There are strong people in a group who can help the weak ones. So we also try to form some associations. And that particular time, there was no active private-public partnership in promoting women in value addition. So also marketing was an issue. There were no market linkages to the private partners, no research or lobbying for milk markets. There were no standardization. First, they produce, but there's no standardization and accreditation of milk products. And there was no linkage. By the time we penetrated the community, there was no linkage to the Uganda Bureau of Standards that gives this accreditation. But as I present now, like 2 months ago, we have started on this process of standardizing their products. It's not easy, but you keep pushing these women. We had started on it, so we pushed and told them on this particular day, go to the offices because it's a regional branch and get your accreditation. And we had put in money as a project, but they forgot and they canceled everything. So we are starting afresh. Those are the dynamics of working with some of the communities. So in this project, we are working with the 5 domains of gender analysis framework by USAID. We look at laws, policies, regulations, and institutional practices. Are men and women treated equally in legislation by the official policies and institutions? And then we look at the access to and control of resources in this particular community. Here, they score 0, even above. And gender responsibilities, roles, and time use. Who does what? Of course, there's a division of labor in this particular community. Culture norms and beliefs are really high. So what beliefs and perceptions shape gender identities and norms in this particular community? And then we look at the patterns of power and decision making in this community. And 90%, or if not 95%, the men take over this decisions in this particular community. Actually, most of all the things, of all areas, even marriage, some of the communities, there's still incest in this particular community, whereby if I lose my husband, my brother-in-law can take over, and it's accepted in some households. Yeah, but we would find that some women don't want it. But this, like I interviewed some of them, they told me, I said, can't you refuse? And said, no, if you refuse, the whole clan will hate you. So, and then I went ahead and asked, what happens to the children? And they said, the children are for the family. Meaning, and then I went ahead, said, meaning that even your father-in-law has access to you if you're married in that particular, some households. Meaning that I made a joke with one of them. I said, meaning that your firstborn can be for your father-in-law, your second-born, your brother-in-law, and then your third-born, your own, from your own husband. And of course, it can happen. But for them, children are for the family and for the clan. So the cultures are still strong in this community, and they value cultures. They value their culture in all aspects when you enter into these communities. Just because I'm looking at the simple component of the milk and the value addition and the women. So I used an impact pathway. At the end of the day, of course, this, I don't know whether you can see it, but it is, I wanted to bring, at the end of the day, I wanted to see improved households and improved household livelihoods in these communities. So I engaged the private partnerships, local government, who plays what in the financial, where can they get some soft loans in the financial area. And at the center of it all, culture would come out, attitude, culture, mindset of people. So what I did, the first entry was to get a buy-in, a trust from the male counterparts. Once you get trust from the male counterparts in this community, you can easily access the women and the children. So it took me time to talk to men alone over and over, because access to women means that maybe you're going to teach them something different where they will disrespect them, and coming from an education from academia, whereby say educated women, they look at them that maybe they think that every woman is promoting different things in the household, especially in marriages, because divorce is maybe 95 unheard of in this community, because you try to, I suppose they're supposed to protect themselves, protect the families. So the approach was, we are all married. We are here to improve households, nothing to do with relationships and all that. So we also promote marriages. We also promote good life, good family life, and nothing much. So of course, some households first chased us, but later on, we kept on going to the community. So they would say, oh, the other community is transforming because of the same people. So some of them started opening up after that. And after getting what they were doing, they were doing some of the value addition. Some of it was not getting them money, especially the training. We first gave them chance to showcase whatever product they use, whether jelly, whether anything. And then we brought them to Uganda Research Industry Institute to get advanced training. We appreciated what they are doing, but we say that you can add something nice, whereby in terms of branding, in terms of marketing, in terms of, a presentation of your product. So we brought them to the Uganda Industry Research Institute, and they appreciated. But that one, I remember writing, signing consent with the male counterparts, allowing their wives to travel from the Western to Kampala, which is about 350, 400 kilometers. So as a project, we were on tension. It's a very protective community with their wives. So we made sure that everyone is hands-on in settling these women in a hotel, transporting them to go and train. And some of them had never left their houses, like going out alone without their spouses. So we paid for hotel rooms, but on the third day, we got to know that some of them refused to sleep in the rooms. They feared, so they were sharing. They crossed over to share rooms with one another. But we'll join them in the evening, talk about it. They had special meals. They wanted their traditional meals. We also brought it in. So some of the Preliminary results, women are solely responsible for maintaining hygiene of milking utensils and boiling of milk. Details of hygiene practices used for milk utensils. Then 87% of household boiled milk for consumption. Then 83% made sour milk from boiled milk. So this is a focus group discussion. We believe that once women and girls milk the cows, that is one of the totems, what they believe. Our cattle will die, our girls will not get married. Why should a woman or girls court? That's the word they used in Unyankole, under the adder of a cattle. So why should it be men should do that? That is according to them. Some men acknowledge that it was their responsibility to wash the udders and teats of cows before milking. However, their female counterparts were in charge of cleaning both the conventional and indigenous utensils used for milk storage. Women cleaned and smoked, as earlier told you, and then boys and girls in this community performed the same duties of their fathers and mothers, respectively, in the production of milk. And this is what they do. We interviewed a number of Spawn is 217 households. And then the people who are into yogurt, production of yogurt, 18%, sour milk, 35%, ice cream, 3%, butter, which is ghee, 28%, and indigenous jelly, 2%. We have done a lot of indigenous jelly because they use their traditional herbs, use ghee, and then they mix in them traditional herbs, which is good because people are buying it even in schools. So we gave them some advanced training when they came to, so now they can produce jelly, lip balm, hair oil, and lotion through this. So why no value addition? As women, we are also interested in value addition, but some of us still have different challenges in accessing milk because it is controlled by our husbands. Some of us can buy milk from our spouses once in a while, but we do not have the money to buy it. It was also a group of focus group discussions. Milk is solely controlled by men, and they are the sole decision makers of milk in this community. And then some crucial thoughts, women and girls play the main role in this community in terms of hygiene, sanitation, and also water. Main responsibility were to milk the cows and also take decisions over milk consumption. The selling of the milk was timed and controlled by men. Value addition not fully appreciated, but without intervention, I think for us, we are moving. So these are the after the training and the branding and all that with the agriforce and ourselves, these are the lotions. They also make doormats from their hides and skin. This is the packaging tradition. Some of the traditional packaging is here. Others want this. This one is expensive, the traditional one. The conventional ones is the price is cheap. This is these jerrycans is their yogurt. These are lotions, jellies. These small ones are lip balms. Yeah, so that's that. This is one group. They are different because this is pink. Another group, you find them, they have a different color. They have different names. Yeah. And then after all this, you know that there's a picture I showed you when they were using firewood to do all this. But after performing well with the project, I also put in another project to bring in biogas because they have the cow dung. They have the resource to produce cow dung. They don't have to go and buy cow dung. So we introduced biogas in the community, and this biogas is also doing wonders. One of the leaders said in one of the association groups, this is a matter of life and death. As women, the smoke has been one of our greatest challenges, causing chronic eye irritation. She explains, both health, the biogas powers industrialized size ovens, allowing the groups to process their yogurt with ease, process cosmetics, and bake ghee bread, ghee cakes, ghee cookies at a commercial scale. So these are the digesters. These ones we installed in December. They're about 2 months old in the community, but they have started using them. And this is what we supplied towards Christmas because they were eager after the training. We brought them for another training. So we installed these biogas ovens, and these are locally made. cooking stoves for them. At least they can boil their milk for yogurt processing, and their butter, if they want to make other products, at least not using firewood, that is conserving the environment, because cutting of trees is an issue. So we are also into conservation, but this is what we provided. So under the raw material conversion, I'm sure most of you online, some of you bake in your homes and all that, you use butter. But these products, we use strictly ghee, replaced butter with ghee. So with that, the rest of the ingredients remain, but it was tested, we tried it, and it worked. So now they produce their own bread, cookies, whatever they want, because this is also training we carried out. And now instead of butter that is imported, I think Ugandans import from Kenya. So for us, we have our local butter, which is the ghee, processed from the milk in these communities. So this is the group for women. We had one of the showcasing their products. We had a woman MP in that area, and posing for a picture, happy that it was really from grass to grace, from firewood, from ignorance of packaging, and also costing a lot, and also mindsets change. So you can see a group of happy women showcasing. Even me, I was posing around holding one of the products, and we were showcasing to the district what we had done. Of course, there are different stalls for all these communities in this area. And allow me to say thank you, and thank you. The story can go on and on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This has been quite a thrilling presentation. I think we deserve a very loud virtual applause. I can see that coming. Thank you, guys. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Let's see your applause. Great. Yes. Dr. Nagasha, this is wonderful. I mean, this is quite enlightening. It's not just enlightening. It shows how the power of indigenous knowledge to be practical. Some of the things we often miss from our Western orientation is how functional African knowledge systems are, and how they're integrated to our lives between the abstract and the real. So it's not just a theoretical, the abstract part of it, which we see a whole lot in Western academy and systems, but also to see how community-based this is. I am, at least from my own personal perspective, really thrilled by the work that you're doing and its significance and importance. The bad part of it, not the bad now, the part of it that I wish we could change was that it was just so punishing to be looking at these delicious things, on the screen. So we have to look for ways that we could make it available virtually. Samuel and Judith, I was just looking at that and wishing that it were possible to survive, but I know that someday we'll do that. And thank you again for taking us through what is a tour de force of the work that you're doing and how important and community-based it is. We're going to take the cue. I would ask, we'll take the Q&As, the questions and Q&A section shortly. But I wonder if I could give Professor Laura Taba the opportunity of leading with some kind of reflection or question that can further annotate and set the tone. We are at 1:44. Oh, yes, we still have some time. We're supposed to end at 2:30, right?
Yeah.
Yes, so
you are the chair now. Continue.
we have some time. I know that it's late there in Uganda. So we are mindful of that. We don't want to keep you waiting or make you go quite past your bedtime. And then that's even the more reason why we're grateful that you're doing this. So, Professor Lorotaba, do you have any reflection or any question or comment for us to flag off the Q&A, then I would follow with a question. And then I'm going to ask everybody else to, I can see some questions. Is that questions? Some notes, thank you. And then, yeah, we have a promo for our next brown bag. But we can have, you raise your hand and then we can ask the questions. I want to encourage us to actually ask questions verbally and be able to turn on your video, your camera as much as possible so we can make it a bit more lively. But if for whatever reason you're unable to turn on your camera and for us to see your beautiful faces, then it's okay for you to ask without the camera. And then if you also wish to post your question for whatever reason on the questions on the notes, then we can take that as well. So, Professor Lorotaba, let's give you the
Yes.
opportunity being the coordinator of this brown bag series.
Thank you, Prof. Fanshia. The reflection you have provided, they are very rich. And thanks to Dr. Nagasha, my sister from Uganda. I just really like the empirical basis of this work that is ongoing. It's not just based on some armchair theorizing, sitting down in the office. She went to the field. She engaged with the people in the field. And we can see that the intersection of indigenous knowledge and gender and dairy farming is very enriching, as the chair had said. So I think we'll just be waiting to ask when are you going to publish the work? And like the chair also said, hopefully one time we'll be able to meet to share some of these things, the menu, to partake in drinking. We call something no in the northern part of Nigeria. When I used to serve there, we used to drink it a lot. So, and I think we can see a kind of similarity between what we are doing there and other part of Africa, even in Southern Africa, where they do a lot of cattle rearing. So yeah, I'm sure other people will have reflection just to commend you for doing this work, and the methodology in particular is what really attracted me, that you get more by engaging with the owners of knowledge, not just talking over them, engaging with them, which is the approach we have taken, co-creation of knowledge with the people there, and the cultural practices. You said something about the fact that, female are not allowed to do something. That male respondent said, why would they do that? So sometimes in our very good haste to think we are civilizing and fostering gender balance, we tend to query some of these things. But I also wonder if you think that's a problem. Does that affect productivity? Does that affect the agency of the woman? Because most times the women are the one doing all of this processing and all of that. So if the system has not allowed them to do that for a long time, I want to know your thought about that. Maybe we can start from there because gender is critical to this topic. Thank you.
Yeah. What I've seen in this community, it is sensitizing and building trust with male counterparts. They have their ego, so you need to find an entry point to their ego. Because some households, really, you see there's some big change. The men are supportive. And it also depends on the respect that that the woman gives to the male counterpart. So family issues are really dynamic and all that and confusing, but you can easily tell that this couple works together when you get to the community, depending on the language they use. But the entry point was the male counterpart, because at first you could not even interview. I think the first time, especially when I was doing my PhD, the female counterparts were guarded. I remember getting into a household. There were men there. Of course, I had to first ask for consent, and they are, these tall, the structure, they are tall men, tall women, and they were looking at me like this, very tough. I asked me my name, where I'm coming from, and I told them I want to talk to the women, and they were there in the milk. I found them in the milk parlor. And one of the males said, now this stupid woman, what do you think she's going to tell you? She doesn't know anything. And the woman
Wow.
can't talk. Before me, this is before me, Prof. And then I held my breath. I usually splash my smile. I say, it's okay. I'll see what I'll get from her. But you can let us go under a tree and I talk to her. But trust me, they will keep checking every after 5 minutes. Is she talking sense? Yes, sir. They go. Are you almost finishing? Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but when you go back, what I've seen when I kept going, because now I've worked in the community for 10 years. You go back to now they know. Now they even go out. It's Judith. Okay. Our women are safe and all that. So it takes long to, but others abused me. I phoned them. I wanted to hold a focus group discussion for only men. And I greeted them, good afternoon, sir. And they said, how dare you? Because I didn't know about it. My culture, it's different. I can greet people, good afternoon, people. There is not accepted. I said, where
Wow.
do you come from? Who raised you? Who is your mother? And I was like, no, what have done? What have I done? Then and quickly, I think the Holy Spirit guided me and said, okay, every day we learn. So today I
Yes.
think I want to learn how you greet. Here. Okay, now you're talking. Here we greet one by one. Good afternoon, Professor Nduka. Good afternoon, Professor Toba. So I went one by one. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you, Share. Over to you.
Oh man, now this is very, very interesting. There are different ways in which masculinity and manliness is performed in Africa. It's so intriguing. Our men.
Yeah.
Anyway, those are some of the issues that the researcher deals in the field. One of the things I wanted to ask you is, it was so amongst the products that is that comes from this cooperative is that it displays was a lotion. So there were lotion as part of it. And considering the prevalence of skin lightening creams and lotions in the continent in Africa, what kind of lotion are those? Are they also like skin lightening, or what kind of lotion do the women produce? Yes, 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 yes. I think that's it there.
You are
No, you're
muted.
on mute. On mute. You're on mute.
Sorry about that. I wanted you to look at the heads of these women, except myself.
Oh yes, that is true.
Everything is natural, no bleaching. They
Oh,
don't even use braids like the way we do. It is that short
wow.
haircut.
Oh,
Actually,
wow.
they call it Janet cut because that's how Museveni's wife cuts her hair. If you look at
Mm.
it's a trend. It's called Janet cut. So, and this is the community where the president comes from. So, like these two women at the end, that's the traditional wear they put on. This is
Mm.
really traditional. So it is they
Okay.
use the indigenous herbs, and originally, before women would get married, they would smear ghee as Vaseline, as their jelly. It was ghee originally. So, but now they get some herbs from their farms, they mix, and it is natural. I've used it. My children have used it.
Mm.
So it is really natural. First of all, they don't believe in nail painting. They are natural people. Nail painting, treating hair, bleaching, unless you're naturally born brown. Or so hair, they keep their hair natural and short, and that
Mm.
is it. Yeah, the
Oh,
picture can speak for itself. I'm the old man out with my
oh,
braids and
yes.
all that. Yeah,
Oh, that's very fascinating. Janet
yeah,
hair. All right.
yeah.
So,
Janet
Akin,
hair.
Janet hair. All right.
Yeah.
So those things are like hair lotions and body creams and stuff like that,
Everything
right?
is indigenous. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So Akinyi Oduo, you have your hand raised. Please go ahead and ask your question or make your comment. Keep it concise as much as possible. Go ahead. Hello, Akinyi Oduo, where you have the floor. If you're talking, please unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you now. Hello.
I'm Akinyi Beryl from Kenya. Thank you so much for the presentation. It was a very nice I've learned a lot from your presentation. I have two questions.
Sorry,
One, I
sorry. You don't,
really,
would you give us the honor of seeing your video? I mean, the camera just helps us, embody the conversation. But if it's not convenient for you, don't worry, then go ahead.
I'm not in a position to, I'm in a
Okay,
matatu on
that's all
my
right.
way
So go
home.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So I have two questions. One is regarding the product that you are seeing. You talked about the jelly and the lip balm. Are they available in the market, especially in East Africa market, and where can one get them from? And secondly, about the biogas, how you talked about the biogas. How is it sustainable for the women to use it there, or there are some days they don't use it? And how is it important for them to how did they go through a lesson to use the biogas? Can you please expound on the biogas use and its sustainability for the women who use it? Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
Yeah.
First of all, their products are not yet on the East African market because of accreditation. They're still locally consumed, except that if I know, I can order because I know the communities. But we are going through accreditation. But like in schools, local schools, they're consuming these products. Except that I had, as a reference, because we were in 5 countries, so we had a workshop in Kenya, Nairobi. I took the products to showcase, and people bought them. The people were in the workshop. Then the biogas, these are cattle corridors. They have large herds of cattle, so that they have the resource because we use cow dung. So it's just getting the cow dung, putting in the system, and then they taught them because we use GIZ. GIZ is very good at biogas, so we patterned with the GIZ. So GIZ trained and also installed the entire system. So they keep checking about maintenance. Once in the 6 months, they make rounds in the communities to check on the maintenance. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. That was a very good question. And then just to follow up with that, we're still waiting. Please raise your hands if you want to talk so we can give you opportunity to talk while you're getting your questions together. You do mention that despite the extensive knowledge and level of contributions, women's participation in formal dairy markets and exchanges remains constrained by patriarchal norms. And you do go ahead to justify that. And then also limited access to credit, technologies, and training. In what are the opportunities for commercializing, more like trying to see how you can amplify this, or in commercializing these products, and what are the alternatives? Do they have like cooperatives that can help facilitate? Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. We because the production was done in their homes, and their homes, these are densely populated. You may from one farm to get a household, so we had to get the upcoming trading centers, gave them startup capital. We surveyed the outlets, put in deep freezers for the milk and all that, fridges, and gave them some equipment, stalls and counters and all that. We furnished everything and gave them startup to take them on, so that when they start producing, they can. So they're in clusters. It's not an individual project. They're in clusters. So they have their own circles, the way they save. And of course, sometimes you can't bring the entire group, so you get like 4 people to represent all those clusters around. So all of them have their outlets where you can, some of them are the roadside, some of them when you're passing and you're not going to visit the project, but you're moving from one community to another. You just call them, I'm coming, pack for me this and this, I want to buy this and pack. So some of them are the highways. So that is how the arrangement is.
Well, that's wonderful. Do we have any more questions? Otherwise, I will ask another one. So while please do try and think of, even if it's not a question, if it's a comment, we all live in different parts of the continent and we have various experiences of what Dr. Nagasha has presented on. Milk is so central, and cattle is also very much central, especially in Eastern Africa. And then as Dr. Loroba had pointed out in Nigeria as well, where I also come from, Fura de Nono and all of that. So the question I would like to ask is a more of a comment. Looking at the products, are there ways in which these are seen as either more feminine products or more masculine products? So I can see, for example, that in this photograph that you had, they had creams, which, in terms of gender is often associated lotions but are there ways in which this production is categorized or seen from the perspective of gender as well?
Of course, when it comes to, I'm sorry to say that, food, men will enjoy the yogurt, but with the products, especially the cosmetics, more consumed by youth, children, youth, and the women. So I don't know how many men smear themselves. That one I can't be sure. Some men use lotion, others they're naturally like that. So the male counterparts could buy for the people that are outside the project, buy for their female, the spouses. But youth, children, they consume this. Food is food. Everyone will love to take a glass of yogurt if you take milk. And then the ghee, that's part of the sauce. So food is food.
Professor Lorotala, do you have any other question or comment?
I have put a paper in the chat about the paper, indigenous paper from this in the chat room. So whoever wants to access it.
I see just the seminar. Have I missed it?
Really?
Next seminar, bullets, buttons. So maybe I have not seen the.
That is another brown bag series. That's the next brown bag series.
Yes, I have not seen the link.
It's there in the chat. I think
in the chat. I put it there. I think I put it
in the chat.
In the chat room.
So Dr. Nagasha, I
Yes,
don't know
please.
why people are not asking questions. Maybe you are too brilliant. So maybe
I don't know. I do.
So yeah.
I just want people to come over
Dr.
and
Letiwe
visit some of these communities. Yeah, so
Dr. Letiwe, who is also a Batwa from South Africa, want to ask questions.
Letiwe.
Yes, Princess Dr. Letiwe.
Hey, day, Dr. Letiwe, congratulations.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Greetings. Here in South Africa, it's in the afternoon. I just wanted to find out from Dr. Nagasha. I'm interested in this because as the Batwa nation here in South Africa, we are still crawling from the grave of oppression, and we want to use this opportunity which she has presented here. It sounds very interesting, and I just want to find out how transferable is what she's saying to other nations. Like, for instance, here in South Africa, we are dominated by clover and other firms that are producing milk, and cattle have been taken by some people and monopolizing on it. So I'm thinking of this is an opportunity to take such endeavors to the community so that they can make their own products and have their own milk and live the way they would love to. So I want to find out how transferable is this to other countries. Like, for instance, the connections that she mentioned about, I think it was GTZ or GIZ, which is, I think it's a German company. All of those things. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lithiwe. This kind of research with communities, my experience is you understand your community with the stakeholders. If you apply a TOC, theory of change, you do stakeholders mapping, the situation analysis, and you get to know how do I penetrate this community, because communities are really dynamic. If you came from South Africa and you wanted to enter this particular community I'm talking about, it will be a different story. So we need to take time to understand the cultures of these communities. You would think that you'd want to take GIZ and do biogas. Is that their need? Is that what they want? You've seen areas whereby you supply mosquito nets without asking people, and they're using them for
Mm.
gardens. I mean, protecting their plants from, I've seen, from pests and all that. So you need first of all carry out a needs assessment, understand what the community wants, plan with them, grassroots, plan with them. Otherwise, you bring an intervention just because Nagasha has done it and fails to work, depending on what you have in that community. So I think the approach is studying the community first, understanding what they want, buying into their, understanding their cultures. And also what I've seen, maybe, I think researchers across maybe Africans and all that, we need to come down from heaven and get on earth, because we are highly educated, published. I'm telling you, because some of these communities, they don't need our hard science, because this is another project I run in universities now, translating science into policy and practice. So I tell researchers, come down, come down, work with these communities. They're human like us. Speak the same language if you can. Enjoy them, and you'll get information. But if you come with your professorhood and all that, you won't get things from these communities. So we need science for impact. From science to impact, that's what me I'm looking for, instead of remaining in science. Now, among these people you're seeing here, who is going to read that paper that I have put there, the indigenous? Nobody is going to understand it because of the science and the jargons that are in it. So we need to newsify, get simple policy briefs, simple language. We can do slides. Today I went to MTN Foundation. MTN Foundation is one of the biggest telecom companies in Uganda, but they give out money for digitalization. So I think what I'm missing is digitalizing these products, accrediting them, and then MTN helps out. So I went with my proposal, 3 pages. We had a discussion, and they told me, Judith, for you from the academia, can you slow down? Can you give us 4 slides about the project, the gap in terms of digitalization, what you want us to do for you, and the budget? 4 slides. They don't want to read you science. So that's why I tell people, can we come down and speak simple language that can help us communicate? So I hope I have answered you, Dr. Lithima.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm answered, more especially because I'm speaking about the community that I'm part of it. So when I hear what you are saying, I can see that the only thing that they need I mean, that is required for now is to tap into some knowledge that is external and internalize it. Like, for instance, they do have the know-how on breeding cattle, but it has been taken away from them for almost from the 1800s. So you know that's a lifetime. So I'm thinking of if we can hear more and more of these things and then try to internalize them and look at what they used to do, and then the funding part of it, all of those things. But being part of the community, it's not like a person who's external. The only thing that has been externalized now through distance is the issue of how our ancestors used to do it. That's the only thing that we have. I mean, the distance has been created between us and our knowledge through the political system that is taking place in our country. But for now, I get you very well what you are saying, and it reminds me when we were in Kenya, when we were doing those methodologies and working with communities, that those things, they resonate with us every day where we go, it comes back. Thank you.
Thank you, Lithima.
Yes, thank you, Lutiwe. That was a very interesting engagement. And then there's some comments as well that are worth drawing attention to. There's Gina Malamba who has said Yes, I agree. It's important to recognize that they are the right savers as these traditional people of this knowledge, while we as stakeholders, respect and understanding to their culture is critical, yet often overlooked. And then we have somebody else who also says that someone with so much interest in digital knowledge who want to visit to learn and explore what's the procedure. This is Akini again. Would you want to clarify what procedure you're referring to if I
Charlotte,
didn't get you?
Charlotte has the hand raised. Share.
Yeah, okay, we'll take Charlotte, then we'll come back to you, Akinyi, to clarify your question so that Dr. Nagasha can take on it. Yes, Charlotte, go ahead. You might want to unmute yourself. Charlotte Asiama, unmute yourself, and then go ahead.
We are not hearing you.
Yeah, we are not hearing you.
Yeah.
Do you want to check your mouthpiece or whatever, or adjust if you're using headset? We can hear you, Charlotte, and we see your one moment. They said connecting. Maybe it's network. I saw connecting flash on the screen. So if you are in a place, maybe you want to move around a bit and see whether you get a better connection.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead. It looks like you're coming on.
Hello, good evening from Ghana.
We can hear you. Can you just raise your voice a bit?
Okay, good evening from Ghana.
Good evening, Charlotte.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be part of this session. I was surfing the internet and I chanced upon this topic that Doctor came to lecture us on, and I'm so delighted to be part. I'm really happy. I have a degree in Akan, an indigenous language in Ghana, and as soon as I saw the adverts on LinkedIn, I was glad to sign on. So first of all, I would like to say a very big thank you to Doctor for giving us this insight. It's quite unfortunate I couldn't join at the beginning because I was having network issues. So but I heard some few things. I heard Doctor said the women, before you can get access to the women, you have to pass through the men and all that. And there is a system over here in Ghana whereby a lot of women are into palm kernel business and all that. So with this background insight from doctor's presentation, I would want to also know how this I don't know whether that same methodology can be used to also investigate into the procedures the Ghanaian women also do over here, or use to do their business over here. And again, when Dr. Otsiono was talking, I heard him say Biobab series. Please, can you educate me on that? And any other thing that the University of Carleton does, I would want to know more. Thank you.
All right, thank you for joining. And then this is really, you've shown resourcefulness joining us via a LinkedIn post. One never knows where this information travel to. And then just for your quick information as well, we have a link on, I'm going to repost it on the chat with access to our next Grant Back series, and that can lead you back to Carleton University. This program is being hosted under the auspices of the Institute of African Studies at Carleton University in Ottawa, Canada. And then I am the director, and Professor Samuel Olorotoba, who leads the Indigenous Knowledge Systems Network and research that is also sponsored, is here with us, and he is coordinating the Brown Bag series. We do have some other members of our staff here, And we are one of the leading sites for the study of Africa in Canada. We have programs for undergraduates. We have collaborative programs. We have major, minor in African studies, and then we have collaborative PhD and masters as well, with some specific units. So you can reach us on our website. And then we also have a weekly newsletter that goes out every Friday. And it's able to promote talks like this and other talks within the greater Ottawa and Canada community, but also internationally. So please feel free to join the conversation. And then if you have any specific things, you can reach us directly through our email and through our website. I will put our email below, but I don't want to take too much time now so that it doesn't look like I'm advertising our program in a different talk.
No harm, no harm, no harm.
Okay. So thanks. Let me yield the ground. Today is Dr. Nagasha's day, and she has so gloriously set the right tone and tenor for our Brown Bag series this semester. Over to you, to Dr. Nagasha, about what she says with the palm kernel, the parallel, and I think this is replicated in most parts of the continent with women in cooperatives or tending to specific kinds of craft or business or enterprise. Over to you, Dr. Nagasha.
Sure, I didn't pick exactly what, maybe you can re-echo the question.
Charlotte, do you want to take it again?
Okay,
If we
so
can.
Doctor's presentation was on milking, farming, the milking farming in Uganda. And and I want to also know, like you see in Ghana, when you come here, a lot of women are engaged in the palm kernel business, whereby they extract coconut oil and palm oil from some of these activities. So as an indigenous researcher, I'm really interested in indigenous work. So as an indigenous researcher, I want to find out if the same procedure that you use for your work in Uganda can be done, can be replicated in Ghana, so that maybe I can also consider that area, so that we can also get some knowledge from them and all that.
I'm not very sure about replication because the communities are different, the cultures, especially the cultures, are different. So with that, of course, some of the things you can copy, if you cluster them, maybe you work in the groups, you get to know more about their families and why are they interested in this business, not the men. So I think we can get answers or approaches from the community itself. You work with the community. I think it's an approach that has worked for me. You work with the community, plan together, not for them, because what works in here may or may not work in this community. Because I think somewhere in Ghana, women can fish. I think it is in Ghana where somewhere, but in Uganda, women can't fish. Yeah. So the contexts are different, cultures are different. Let's first study our communities, and then the interventions will work together with the communities.
That's it. Wow.
Yeah. But I think mindset change, what I've seen, may cut across. Mindset change on both people, female and male, depending on what you want to get into the community. Mindset is very, even us researchers, we need to change our mindset in approaching or getting entry points to these communities.
Yeah, Charlotte, I've just shared the network, African Indigenous Knowledge Research Network. I'm surprised you don't know.
Okay.
I've shared the link. You can join. Membership is free, at least for now. Thank you.
Okay, then I will join. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Do we have any other questions? All right. I would give Dr. Nagasha to make her concluding remarks, and then we'll wrap it up. And then we look forward to the next brown bag on March
Doctor,
11th.
please sorry to come in. Please, would the slides be shared with us?
Yeah, I'll share with the professor. on top. I'll share with you the slides, and then you can reach out to the people.
Mm-hmm.
And we also ask for a brief policy brief that you have just recommended. Can you give us a policy brief so that we'll put on ACRIN website?
I also give you the policy brief out of this work.
Thank you. And then we
All
will
right.
put it on AIS thing too, so that
That's so
funding
you're
can
putting that's multiple value added. That's great. So
Mm-hmm.
over to you, Dr. Nagasha.
First of all, I'm just humbled and privileged to be the first person to open up this brown bag series. And I call upon all researchers, let's not work in our own dockets. You think it is your own cake, you'll bake it, eat it yourself. Knowledge is wide. We need each other in this platform of academia and projects, and because we can learn from one another. So let's join hands. At least I'm part of the Africa Indigenous Research Network, where I've also learned a lot of indigenous approach in different communities. So I want to thank you, Professor Manduka and Professor Olmuto, for such an opportunity. And I'm willing to support wherever I can. I share anything about my work and what I do. I'm willing to share. And I also want to ask if we can get a way of sharing the translation of science into policy and practice, because here I work with journalists on how we translate our research, whereby people can unify work. Like these papers of mine, most of them are news. It's just news. You get news out of it, which any person can read in the both English and the local languages. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Can we give her a round of applause? Can we have that applause again, ladies and gentlemen? A virtual applause. Yes, this has been quite a thrilling afternoon here and the evening out there in the continent. Dr. Judith Nagasha of Kiambogo University has led us on this season's brand bag series. We have the brand bag series annually, and it's going on for a couple of years. And this is the first in the series. We have 4, so there are 3 more to go. The next one is been scheduled for March 11th, and then we have it on the chat. You can check out the link: Bullets, Batons, and Silence, analyzing the A state response to the 2024 End Bad Government protests in Nigeria. You are invited to join. You can register for it using the link that we have just put up there. And then for all of you who are in different parts of the continent and different parts of the world, thank you for being a part of this very interesting, very important, and very defining presentation this afternoon. And more so, you can follow the link also on the chat to the African Indigenous Knowledge Network. There's a search, there's a link there, and then you can also follow the work of the group. And then more importantly, keep in touch as much as possible. Want to see you again and again. And if you're a woman, you don't have to be in Uganda. And I see that it's also possible for some of us men to consider the Janet hair. And on that note, I wish you maybe Samuel can lead us by looking at how we can do a Janet hair on his head too.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Nagacha. Thanks to all our participants. See you again on March 11th. Thank you.